Welcome to Vegas Circle with Paki and Chris. And today, joining the circle, we're excited to sit down with one of the founders and artists of Revolt Tattoos. Today, we're actually going to touch on how the tattoo business works, how he actually won season 3 of the tattoo show InkMaster, and also how he's developed a relationship with Brookfield Properties. We got Mr. Joy Hamilton. So welcome to the circle, bro.
Thank you. Thank you guys very
Welcome,
much.
Joy. We're excited. I'm pretty pumped for this one. I've seen your shop a bunch of times, so I definitely want to get into it and talk about it.
Cool.
Yeah, so you actually have 5 actual properties, technically, right? So you got 2 here.
What's today?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I'm just kidding.
Moving that fast.
Yeah, yes, there is 5 right now.
Yeah.
We are getting emails weekly right now to expand.
Yes, excellent.
So,
it's a good place to be. People want the demands there for sure.
But it's you have to figure out what you want to do as a business. Like I'm at that point. I've been tattooing a long time, 27, 28 years. Mm-hmm. I need to figure out where to grow. If I'm going to grow, if I'm going to sit back and just try and sit still or grow. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't want to jump ahead. So.
No, it's good. So you've actually you're inside the Fashion Show Mall here, and then also inside Meadows Mall here in Las Vegas. Then you also built out to the Hard Rock Cafe in Lake Tahoe, if I remember correctly, Salt Lake City, and in Houston. Those are huge markets, which is great. How do you kind of pick what market you want to go to? Is it developed because of this relationship with Brookfield, or how do you kind of set your business plan?
Some of them have fallen into our laps. Mm-hmm. The Hard Rock Casino kind of put out feelers to see who wanted to open in their casino. Mm-hmm. I've worked in a casino before, so I know it's good for tourists. Any kind of tourist base, you can get around people, and they can see your work. Mm-hmm. You could usually sell them, so that's always good. Brookfield was always in the back of my mind. Yep. You know, we opened up across from UNLV at first, and then Brookfield actually came to us, saw our space, was like, wow, this is something maybe we could put into one of our malls.
Sure.
But they made us go into Meadows Mall first, which Meadows, we all know, is Ghetto's Mall. So, but we proved a point that we could do it, and then it's just expanded from there. Within 2 years, we were in Fashion Show. Mm-hmm. My business partner at the time wanted to go to Salt Lake, so that kind of fell into our lap. I instantly looked it up. Brooksfield's in Salt Lake. Awesome. So we just kind of keep expanding. Houston's the same thing. Yeah. Had a really good friend, ex-military, was like, hey, let's maybe open a shop together. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And then it's just to that point now. Yeah. That's who we're going to. We don't have to do any financials. We don't have to do anything. It's literally like we asked for what's your top 10 malls? And we just got that back, and we're already in 3 of them. That's of their top 10. And now I'm like, okay, so next year we're going to be by 5. You know, it could be Denver. They have one. They have one in Baybrook Malls in South Houston, which Houston's a huge, metro place. So that's kind of where I thought was a good expansion point was because why wouldn't you want to go to where you could not step on your own toes inside of the field, but be close enough to support it?
Yeah. Yes. So. How important do you think that relationship is with Brookfield as you're trying to expand, right? Being a mall company that owns, massive amounts of malls throughout the country, how important do you think that is for your expansion? Do you think you would have been at that same point if you didn't develop that relationship, or do you think it just kind of bridged that gap a little easier?
Yeah, but we would have been like the regular, everybody else, a street local shop off the side of the road. Sure. There's no visibility. I've always been in high tourist areas, and I've been in Vegas for a long time. So I just was like, why can't we get into Fashion Show? You know what I mean? And Brooksville has been bought, because it was a different mall company when we first went in there. It was somebody else, but they keep getting bought out. But Brooksville's the final one right now, and they've had the VP came through. Even we got actually kind of turned down at first. We had a LOI to go in there, and then they came, and the VP of the whole place was doing a mall walkthrough, and he goes, "Is that where Revolt wants to go?" And our guy was with them, and he goes, "What do you?" That's off the table already. And he goes, we'll put him in there. And so we got lucky being next to Nordstrom right off the bat where we're at. It's on the slow end of the mall, but we have a really good visible spot.
Yeah,
we
definitely.
proved that we could be in there. Yeah. And now it's like...
You're in a high traffic area.
It is. It is, but the other side of the mall, they're never going to put a tattoo shop on the lower floor next to Apple. They're never going to do it. So we have to pick and choose, some spots inside the mall. as long as we're inside the mall and there's decent foot traffic, we're good with it. And you know, we have a really good negotiator out of. We've kind of moved on and up and up. You know, I have a really good GM in place, but we've hired a company outside now to do our negotiations, and they did the one for Houston, and it's by far our best one. And so I'm looking forward to that, where it's like, okay, maybe we don't have to pay the first timer rent, you know, and get, awesome, we want all this extra stuff from you, you know. So
is it actually a franchise that you guys set up?
No,
or
no,
it's privately held?
Yeah, okay. It's so there's a holding company that holds all the stuff underneath it, and we actually had, so we have the 5 tattoo shops, then we had a tattoo supply company. It was short-lived. You know, it's hard to manage everything and not have people. I can't spread the people too thin underneath that. Yeah. And that's what kind of was happening, was we were using the same people to run this as the people to run this as the people to run that. It's a great idea. We just didn't have the structure to do it yet.
Sure.
And then we also had a tattoo school, which was somewhat controversial. We, you know, our industry's not ready for it, but I'm ex-military, and I felt like that's how you're going to get the best product, is by, if I have 6 guys training one person instead of one guy, that guy's going to be smarter or better.
Sure. Yeah.
And it did. It was a proof. I proved the point, but our industry's still not ready for it. And you know, it was actually, what you want to say, it was it's accredited by the state. Like, we went in front of the school board.
Okay.
Like, it was no joke. It was like a legit. I had a college professor teaching tattoo history. You know,
seems like it's needed, honestly.
Yeah,
I was curious how that worked. Well, not to cut you off. Yeah, so good.
Anybody outside of it, our industry, is like, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you do that?
That's my thought process. I feel a lot more confident.
But anybody inside is like, screw that. We're not gonna, you know, it's almost like a hairstylist. We don't need 800 hairstylists here right now. You know what I mean? And you can put out a lot of people that way. And I was only doing 3 or 4 at a time, so I wasn't like trying to put out 20. Yeah. You know, so that was a little bit different, but it goes both ways. I understand where they're coming from, because our industry needs respect for the craft. Sure. On how it's handed down and stuff, and I think that's where I was kind of like thinking, like, man, I can get around that. But then going through it with some of these young kids, you know, I'm like, what the fuck, kid? Like, you gotta realize that I'm teaching you something. I'm not here to be your buddy. I'm not here to do anything. I'm here to teach you how to tattoo. And at the end, I'll shake your hand and say, good job. Yeah. And don't. And you can learn a trade and make some good money. Don't smart off. Don't like talk back. Don't say, you know. And me and the kid butted heads for a long time, but I finally got it through to him, and he worked for me for a couple of years after he graduated, which is something to be said, because our requirement to work for me is you have to be a really good artist. I'm not just going to hire anybody off the street. So I got him through to the point where I actually was like, okay, you got it. You're working for me. So,
and that was going to be one of my questions. You know, how, you know, being in the tattoo industry, what are the current requirements? You know, is there any sort of licensing that you have to become an artist? And then ultimately, how do you decide who do you want to kind of work at one of your stores? Is it on-site education? Is it, you know, you have to provide a portfolio of work and we kind of test it out? Like, I was always curious how that process works.
Everybody's different. I mean, my process usually is, I've been out here a long time, and I like to bring on guys that I know. Like, if I work with you in another shop and we got along and you come to my door and say, I want a job, I will hire you. Okay. My old bosses don't like that, but I've told them to their face, that's what I'm going to do. If they come to my store, I'm not going to turn them down.
Yeah, why would you if they're good at what they do?
Yeah, and if we don't know them, sometimes it's friend of a friend. Like, hey, I worked with this guy, talk to him. Yeah. And we've hired a couple from out of state. And that's just portfolio based. I'll look at your portfolio. It's got to be tight. It's got to fit in with us. You know what I mean? It's got to be something we need, because there's different styles in tattooing. So if we don't need this style, then sometimes I'm like, oh, I can't really use you right now. Or we got a kid that we interviewed, amazing artist. He's had problems around town. And I'm like, I'm the guy. I'm like, I'm going to give you your shot. But I don't have space here. Are you willing to move? And he went up to Utah, had a great time. He's moving beginning of January. So best of luck to him. You know what I mean? But awesome. You know, I don't feel like, he might have had problems. I've had, you know, everybody's had problems at some point in your life or career. And you just need to, you know, step back and go, okay, I drank a lot. So now I got to get past that point. I have a wife, I've got kids, I got like everything to take care of. So, you know, in our industry, it's like a group of pirates and you're just trying to wrangle them up.
Yeah.
And be like, do we need 401ks? Do we need, nobody wants to talk about that kind of things that's in our industry because it's not there. There's.
I'm glad you brought that up because kind of a two-part question, not to cut you off, but it's like the financial literacy. Like, we've had folks that have come on that own barbershops and salons and things like that, and teaching them how to budget, especially during the pandemic, right? Like, is that something that they'll listen to you on just because everybody's independent? No. Or are you able to help them be able to say, hey, you need to save for a rainy day?
When you get trained or taught and, or mentored, when you come into, like when I got brought into it, my first boss was like, I want you to work your ass off today. And at the end of the day, you're going to go spend every dime you have in your pocket. So that makes you want to come back tomorrow and do it again. And, it's such a bad way to think about it, but that's still how it is
everybody
now.
else does, though. Monday through Friday, you do
you're
check
sitting
to check.
there. Yeah, and then when I go to the club and drop $5,000 on the table, I didn't really need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I really wish there are people I'm following now. Like I'm like Peter, like I always ask him business advice,
for sure.
Business stuff. And that's the cool part about me tattooing is I tattoo everybody. Any walk of life can walk in that and get in my chair, and you'd be amazed how many nuggets I pick up, from going, okay, cool. Maybe I'll think of that. Like going into NFTs or going into, crypto to going into whatever I'm going to be doing, or just asking like, if people are from an area, where are you from? Oh, cool. Maybe we're considering opening there. How is it there? So it's kind of a cool job to have, but
sure.
Yeah, that's going to be my, because one thing is tattoo shops are, it's funny, they're very reputationally based, right? People are going to go to a tattoo shop that has a good reputation, but how you have a lot of independent artists, right? I'm assuming that work there. So it's not necessarily one apple isn't representative of your whole tattoo shop. Do you find this as being a challenge? I know locally you have a great reputation, but as you're kind of going into new markets and you're trying to develop that reputation where you can't bring your friends because it is like a Houston. Right. Is it harder to kind of develop that with individual artists when you're trying to develop the reputation there?
I think that's part of the interview process. So as long as their portfolio is very strong and we have marketing behind pushing them as one of our artists, then it does work out.
Makes sense.
We've had some issues, but as a learning curve, we're learning more and more as we expand. That's going to be some of the issues is marketing to different areas. Like Salt Lake was one of our first ones that wasn't tourist driven. And we've always been around a place where people are traveling in to get tattooed.
Sure.
So that was the first one where like, okay, 80%, 90% is going to be local based. So now we have to target it to the locals, so.
As a place to go to, if it makes sense. Just kind of backing up a little bit about marketing, right? Obviously you won InkMaster, which is a hell of an accomplishment. Do you think that's helped your brand? With being able to market that, to be able to show, hey,
of course. So before InkMaster, I did a show called Inked.
That's right.
And I was at Hart and Huntington for 2 years, and that always amazed me, the power of TV. Like every day I would go to work and there'd be 30 people lined up.
Oh wow.
To get tattoos. I learned my do's and don'ts, like don't overcharge. We were overcharging so much because they'd be like, it's $700 to $1,200. And they'd be like, okay, so it's $1,200. You know what I mean? So there was little things like that. Like now we don't do that now. But that was nobody knew it because that was the first casino shop that has been ever done. And but yes, seeing that power of TV has definitely helped us. And anytime we can go back, Walter, Sausage is my business partner. He's been on multiple times. I've been on multiple times. Like they'll invite us to go be coaches. They just finished the last season, 13 or whatever number it is. And I was supposed to go back on that, but I could not go. I agreed to go, and then I couldn't go. So we'll see.
How do they choose you guys? Like, how do they choose you? Or
it's different now. Okay. Back when I was on, we went to LA, and you had to do a casting interview. Okay. And you literally had probably 3 to 4 minutes to impress somebody enough, not even just your work, but just being able to sit here and talk and engage somebody. And then if they felt like you were, interesting enough, they would call you back for an on-camera interview the next day. Okay. And it was funny because me and Walter and he went with me for the first one, and then this guy Chris. We went to the movies, and all of us are sitting there just because they said by 5 o'clock if we don't call you, you're not coming on. So I'm sitting there, we're all like, oh, anybody get anything yet? And it just, they never called. And then probably 7:30 they call me, and we're like most of the way back to Vegas. And they
must have been a great feeling.
Well, I said, hey, well, my friends are here. They're calling them too, and they were like, oh no, not right now. And I'm like, they're just as good as me. So that's what you're thinking that they're casting you on your talent. It's a small minor part of it, but they need like the guy that looks like this, a guy that looks like that. And then, over the years, you really see that, because I was not behind the scenes, but I was going to all the finales, so I'd meet all the artists and see all the people. But yeah, anytime you can get your brand on TV or on anything that helps you out, like I've done extra TV show, TMZ, Paris Hilton's TV show. I've done Wide World of Sports. I've done so many things that just help. I did gigolos.
Did you really?
On Showtime. Yeah, I tattooed the Nick Hawk guy like 10 times. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
So, but
that's hilarious. Yeah.
Anytime you can get that, like we did a UFC in our old shop. UFC would use this all the time. They had the whole cast come in and got tattooed. From one of the Tough Enough things. And so
you get nervous when you're doing that, just in case you mess it up.
No, like I said, if I mess something up, you'll never see it. I could even joke, like, look, see, I just messed it up, but I can fix it. It's like anything. I know there's no erasers, but you're never going to mess it up enough to where you can't fix it. Or
yeah. What do you think is like the biggest thing you learned from InkMaster? Is it the marketing aspect, the sales aspect, how to present yourself? Like what do you think you took away from that?
Like more of being about a people person, honestly, is probably what I learned from that. Not the marketing is there. The marketing's built in. They do it
just because everybody,
they do it for you. Yeah. We just got back on. They put my season on Netflix, and now it seems like it just happened again.
Oh, that's pretty
awesome.
I'm
getting people daily like, I just watched you last week. You just won. I'm like, yeah, that was 9 years ago. But that's what I mean about that's the one tool that if you could ever do it, do it. I don't. I have business partners now like, let's do a show. I'm like, I don't want to do a full-time show in the store. It'd be great.
It's a lot of work.
I've talked to people about it, but it's like, man, do I really want to be in front of the camera? That I'm getting older, I'm not a young chicken anymore.
The process is no joke.
But as far as taking stuff away from them, it's not the behind the scenes is all I really took out of it. What's going on behind the camera. It didn't really help in my business any. It just helped me propel my business.
And be able to have a brand, Revolt brand.
And it's tagged along with Revolt. I mean, InkMaster, of course, we were using that a lot to, we were doing cab backs and doing all that stuff. We did billboards when we first opened up. And, that was a perk for the artists because we would, not just me and Walter, we were putting up them on the boards too. And they were like, oh my God, I want a billboard in Vegas.
Yeah, I think those are going to be the two things that I think you do exceptionally well. One is that artist profile. I think that is like great. When I'm walking down, I know, and you see who it is, the name, before you even go into the place. You get that kind of, it makes you feel more comfortable walking into the store. I think that's a great idea that you don't really see in a lot of other places for some reason. I think too, also the elevated sense of your locations. Like it's not a hole in the wall tattoo shop. They are really well done. Was how much of a thought process did you put into those two things before you started to create your brand, or was it something that kind of happened naturally?
It was more naturally. Like we worked with a designer to somewhat build it out, and I was collecting looks, and here's what I would like it to look like. As far as marketing stuff too, like. I'm sitting there tattooing, but I'm thinking about 10 other things at the same time. What can I do to make ourselves stand apart from everybody else? Because tattooing, there was 10 years ago, there was 100 and some shops out here. So now there's got to be 200-300 easily, probably. So, back, that's 8 years ago when we first opened, I did, hashtags and all that stuff was just becoming trending. And we had live video cameras in every station, so anybody could walk in from anywhere across the world because we were getting clients from everywhere. And their friends back home could watch. And this is before Instagram Live, before Facebook Live, anything. Like 6 months to a year before any of that. And we were already doing it. And that was such a huge perk for us. Like,
Yeah.
That's organic. You're seeing
exactly.
It. Yeah, it's organic.
People walk in and go, I was doing a dog portrait, and they were taking pictures of the dog watching the camera from back home.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Like the dog sitting there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There's so many cool things that were going on with that. But
and next time they come here, they're comfortable going to your shop because their friend did the same thing.
Seeing it, I would tattoo somebody like, oh, I watched you all week before.
But super cool.
It was such a cool marketing tool.
That's a hell of an idea.
We got out of that because it's hard for. It's not. I'm fine with it, but the artists aren't fine with. The artists would be like, oh, I don't want to. I got to pull the camera over again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're trying to focus on
that's
their work.
my as a business. That's the one hurdle that I have is getting somebody to realize I'm sliding you $100 bill. And do you want to take it or not?
Yeah.
And that's it. Like when you're a commission-based business, you can be like, no, I don't want it. I don't want to do that. And then that as a business owner, you're like, but you're complaining about money.
Yeah.
You're complaining about A, B, C, D.
And I'm giving you solutions you don't want to take.
Putting a little gasoline on
this is how much of an entrepreneur. So I'm friends with JC Lopez. Okay. Urban Necessities. They open up.
I talked to him yesterday.
Yeah,
he's about to have surgery.
Yeah. Opening up, and he was in fashion show first, so we became pretty good friends and played poker at his house, did all this stuff. But I started tattooing the guys at the shoe stores, and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go get 20 pair and take them to JC's and sell them, because I looked at it that way. Like, that's $100 on the floor.
And you're selling for $400.
Am I not gonna pick it up? So. I really wish my industry was better at it and had the young hustlers or people that understand, like, and I understand, like, you get old, you get tired, and you're like set in your ways, and I don't want to do the 18th butterfly for the week.
Yeah.
But that's what puts food on the table for your family, gas in your cars, all this stuff, and and I'm not making a shit ton of money off of them. It's just, you own the business. It's a small percentage. There's so much overhead, everything else, so. I just really wish they would realize that and, not go home early.
Yeah, but to do it. Yeah.
But it's their choice.
To do the
They're
work.
Independent contractors, so I can't, as an owner, sit there and say, hey, get your ass back here and go to work. So
because you're independent. You got to make it work. Yeah. That's interesting. I'm kind of blown away because I would have thought those would be set in place and people would want to learn that. And I'm kind of blown away.
Yeah. There is no, our industry, if somebody came in here with a brain and really tried to take it over, and
kind of how like the barber schools and stuff like that.
Right, it could work, but it can't work because you're not going to get anybody to change. I could say it 100 times, like, man, let's start paying your taxes. Let's start making you an employee. And at some point, they're going to have to. The government might force us to do that.
Yeah.
But as all the artist sees is that number on the end of the table, when they're like, okay, here's my commission rate, and you're going to tell me you're going to take away from it. And they don't realize that you're actually helping them. I'm going to maybe get you medical. I might do the A, B, C, D or paying your taxes by taking your money and paying your taxes for you.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. What do you think that inherent kind of fundamental
the pirate mentality?
Yeah,
like
it's kind of very weird.
I've gotten told in my face, you're so corporate, you're so this and so that. And I'm like, I'm logical.
Yeah. There's a reason why the corporates do that.
Yeah.
Corporations do those things.
At some point, our industry will get to that point where you're going to have to do that. There's some people that are already doing it. Some states are not as required, but they're, it's changing slowly. I don't like it myself. I still like making X amount of dollars and, pay my taxes.
Yeah, for sure. I wish they would understand the financial literacy because that's the biggest key to everything, especially when you're running a business. Is like, and we should teach it in schools too. Like, I wish I would have learned it in junior high and high school of how to pay your taxes and then what these are.
We've brought people in. We brought financial advisors in. We brought
to talk to the artists.
Yeah, to brought insurance stuff in, and it's like the deaf crowd.
That's so interesting. Is because like you're going to take 30% of my pay for benefits when I could just take it home and then hopefully I'm sure they all pay taxes afterwards. But being an independent contractor, you really don't know.
I learned that lesson myself because I owned my businesses in Florida. Before I moved out here, I had like multiple tattoo shops out there. And I came out here and I had a lawyer set up my LLC out here and did some stuff. And I didn't pay my taxes for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And I was making $250 a year.
Oh, so you got
That's
smashed.
a pretty big bill.
I was like, what?
Yeah, you got smashed.
Yeah.
That sounds like what
I learned
Shaq
a
was
lesson.
talking
Yeah,
about. You ever heard the story where Shaq did his first check when he had $1 million and he didn't know what FICA was and all the different ones? And
no, they'll
took everything.
Get you quick on that. You learn your lesson real fast.
Yeah. I was like, maybe I should pay my taxes.
What do you think is like when you were first starting, what do you think is the biggest thing that maybe you would change or what you have learned, especially with being in all these different tattoo shops? Like maybe you're being able to, I guess, reevaluate because you're able to open up in different markets, whereas Houston. But when you're just thinking about it just logically, what would you change like right off the bat when you first started?
I would put more money away.
Okay.
And if I could tell myself right now, like how much money I've made in my career in 28 years,
sure,
I would buy real estate. I would buy a lot more tangible things than buying the AP watch. The AP watch is a good one.
Yeah.
But if I bought right now, like I'm looking at Airbnbs because almost every location we're going to have, people are going to be traveling to go see us. Like, especially out here, I could rent 10 Airbnbs out. You know what I mean? So you need to diversify also more than you can't rely on yourself to tattoo 6 days a week, like I'm still doing right now, and be happy with yourself, with your life, with, you can only work so hard. You know what I mean? And that's I've always been a grinder, and I pride myself on being a grinder. But at some point, you can't grind.
Yeah, you have to the business work for you.
My thumb is hurting right here, sitting right here.
Yeah.
So, that's where I'm at, is like, I wish I would have been like, not listen to my old boss where he's like, go to the strip club and spend every dime you got. Yeah. So you're going to come back and be hungry. You know what I mean? So, you could buy, that's all I'm saying, is that you put it to use. Put that money you're making to use.
It's kind of hard because you almost have like your industry built for pirate mentality, but also you want stability. So it seems it's so wild to me.
They all do right now. Like that's the other artists are coming to you now, and they're all 20 plus, 15, 20 years. What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I kind of pride myself on that we're actually taking artists too. If you've saved your money and we believe in you and trust you, we'll open a store with you.
Oh, that's cool.
Put the money up. Yeah. We'll put our money up. It's usually, and we just did one 80-20. It's $300,000 build. You got $60,000? Let's do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you don't, then don't bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't say I didn't save, I didn't do this on all this, and then be like, where's mine at?
That's
where's
a great
mine
opportunity.
At? Well, I put myself in this position to do it. You know what I mean? I appreciate all the guys that work for me and work with me. I always say that they don't work for me; they work with me.
They work with you.
Because I'm tattooing alongside them. You know what I mean? So, and we were talking about that this morning. My manager, I was like, well, who would be next on our list of like, who can we trust? Who's got some money put away, and who wants to move?
Yeah.
Because you're looking at different markets. You said Florida or
Denver.
Denver's
a
hot market.
They've offered Denver multiple times, and Denver's like one of the top 2 or 3 spots in the nation for tattoos.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Is it really?
People like having tattoos. So,
yeah, it's have to talk offline on how you invested in Denver. That's smooth. Yeah. Just business advice. You were talking about putting money away. What would you share just with us being a business show on top of putting money away, of a nugget you could share for somebody that wants to start their own business? What would you tell them?
Do your research. That's the biggest thing that even now, like we have to research the area. We have to research, for one, how the people are getting paid. We learned that lesson quick in Utah because just like a salon, like you can either be booth rent, you could be commission based, you could, a couple different ways you can work this out. And we didn't do the research on how the artists were paid. So we go there and thinking our name's going to instantly have, and I had some good guys apply right off the bat. I'm like, I like this kid. This guy's an awesome guy. I've met him at conventions. And he first question, how much is the booth rent? I said, we don't do booth rent because our locations will bring you more business. I try and explain it. I'll get to that in a second. But that's what I was saying. If you have to do the overall research of the area, of course, how much do people get paid in the area? How much traffic's in that mall? Even in the mall itself, where's the location? How much traffic is in that spot? Because I learned at fashion show.
There's a formula. Yeah.
And in fashion show, there's different entrances, and they're all prioritized. There's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4.
Oh, wow.
All the number 6, however many they have. And you want to be in the top 3. You want to be.
I never knew that.
Yeah,
You
me
just
neither.
said that right now.
But it makes sense now that I think about it.
Yeah, the side next to the strip over on the wind side is the number 1 spot, and that's where JC was at. Here I am on the opposite side of Nordstrom when it's not.
That's funny because I always come in the same location you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's always the one I go in.
Most of the yeah. So, but yeah, just getting back to the commission based or like you have to do the research on different things to find out like what's
It probably helps when you have a Brookfield Tuesday because they're property management and they're looking at the traffic and looking at the real estate. You know what I mean? They're looking at that whole setup.
That's the Baybrook one they just offered us is comparable to Fashion Show.
That's awesome.
And it could be half the rent.
Yeah.
So if it is comparable in the actual foot traffic and we get it less than half, we'll be ecstatic because it's a smaller space, but it's still like I'm looking at number of chairs. I made them. My ego took a hit when we first opened Revolt. I was like, I've been in Hart and Huntington, I've been at Club Tattoo, I did Starlight Tattoo, I've been all these casino shops, all these mall shops that are nice and big, and so I had 2 options. I could go into 700 square feet, or I could go into 8,000 square feet. And I chose the 8,000, and it was a dumb mistake. It
was a dumb mistake?
I think so. It's twofold. So if I didn't go in there and make this big, great, we had a Jumbotron, we had a 10-foot by 12-foot TV screen, closed off events, did all this stuff, made it like, that's what drew us to Brooksfield. Like they were like, this is awesome. If I'd have been in a 700 square foot spot 2 doors down with only 3 or 4 chairs, who knows would have got where I'm at now. But that was an expensive mistake on the rent. Like I was paying $21,000 a month.
Oh, wow.
For 8 booths. And we survived. We got through it. I'm a man of my word. I paid my rent.
Yeah.
I got through it. But looking back,
that's scary.
Yeah, looking back,
21,000. That's a high overhead. Yeah.
It's more than Fashion Show. You know what I mean? So, but I was used to those numbers because I knew what the other ones were paying in the malls.
That makes sense.
So I was like, I know I can hit those numbers. I know my numbers. I know Walter's numbers. So I knew we could hit the numbers. But looking back, it's like I could have maybe not done that and just dialed it back. But like I said, then they may not have noticed this. Then I wouldn't be where I'm at.
You would have that same brain.
Everything happens for a reason.
I always think of that. I'm like I think of both sides. Like, okay, yeah, that sucked, but it got me to where I'm at.
Do you kind of know what the numbers that Fashion Show does, foot traffic a month or a year? They have to do a ridiculous amount.
I think it was $1,000 a square foot or it's something that's how they tell you. It's like dollars, sales per square foot is what they generate. So I know Caesar's is a little bit better than ours, but we're still like, we're
it's
still
pretty big numbers.
Yeah, it's big numbers. Yeah. It's slowed down. It's slowed down some because of COVID and all that stuff, but we're definitely finally picking back up.
That's good, man. Just kind of changing pace a little bit. We always ask our guests about restaurants. What's your favorite restaurant in Vegas?
Am I going to get a free steak out of that?
We did once.
I joke because I've gotten comped a couple meals there, but Barry's Prime is more than my
I've been wanting to go there.
Yassine is like always, it's kind of crazy because Richard Wilk actually introduced, he knows my wife pretty well. Yeah. And he invited us to go to Circa and go to Barry's. And then when I get in there, Yassine is with the operations. He's the owner of he's the daily.
With Chef Barry,
Yeah. And literally, it was funny because he goes, oh, I'm going to get some tattoos. And he goes, it's funny because my girlfriend's a tattoo artist. And I'm like, no way. Like, here's this guy that owns all this and he's dating a tattoo artist.
That's cool.
That's awesome. But she's an amazing tattoo artist. I'm like, holy shit, okay, cool. I like her work a lot, so it's kind of cool. But yeah, definitely Barry's is great.
They got great food. They started with Scotch Eddie Prime and then they started over there. So I'm a big fan of them.
Rib Cap at Barry's. I say that. And then if people ask for shows, I say Absinthe is my number 1.
Okay.
And then I just saw the Atomic Saloon, which I thought that was.
What is that?
It's another show.
It's
another. Is that a new one?
Isn't the same people who made Absinthe made that one?
Yeah, it's Spiegel World, and they made that one too. So I've actually gotten flown to Canada to go on Expedia.
Oh,
Canada
wow, that's cool.
Brought me up there. I went on TV shows, and that was I was like pitching Vegas. Like, what do you do in Vegas? And I was doing stuff for them. So
that's fantastic.
It's kind of, how much stuff I've gotten out of the show is just.
It's great.
Yeah.
And just a little sidetrack though. Didn't the people who make absinthe, and then they just open up a restaurant as well? Fantastico, is it called?
I don't know. Is it here?
It is here.
Oh, I'd have to go there.
I think they made a restaurant here. I think it's called, I have to look it up. We'll talk offline on it, but I'm pretty sure they put together a restaurant.
They probably did. When they built
what is your guys' favorite? Because I need recommendations.
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't think we've ever been asked that.
I've got too many favorite ones. I probably would say right now.
I'll go first while you think about it. I like Cleaver. Cleaver over across from Lori's. Just opened up. Cool. They're really fantastic. Steakhouse.
We just went to Carver's.
Carver I've been to. I think Salt Bay was actually pretty good.
Okay.
I was actually surprised. That was actually very, very good. Golden Steer I liked a lot too with Amanda. They're excellent as far as steaks. SW was good also. But some of the hole in the walls, man. We got some great hole in the walls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean here?
That's I've tattooed the chef from Rayo's, and she had opened up a place on Eastern.
Rayo's
when
is good too.
Whenever her husband split up,
she
opened a little hole in the wall up there, and mine. I was like, holy cow!
That's pretty cool.
Same food as Rayo's here.
I get lost because there's so many. I'm a big foodie, so I get lost. We eat all the time at different restaurants. I try to choose different ones, but the other one too, I can't think of the Italian Japanese spot. I can't even think of it right now. Trattoria Nakamura.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of that before? Check that out.
Okay.
Chinatown. It's amazing.
I always go to Paki for my recommendations.
I've never been to Chinatown. I think I went to one time.
Oh, really? They have the best food over there. They have great food.
Italian food. My favorite spot right now is Milano. I don't know if you ever heard there. Laura and Laura over there. They're amazing.
Cool. I'll have to check some of them out. I'll have to watch
it's good stuff.
Write them down.
Yeah, that's what I do. I have to go for Paki recommendations. No, I want to go out somewhere because I'm terrible.
Foodies. So. What else are you concentrating on for, I guess we're going on finishing up this year, so 2023. What do you go? I know you just opened up Houston, but what else are you guys focused on?
Personally, I'm getting into NFTs.
Okay.
You know, I listen to a lot of Gary Vee, and I try to, of course it's dumping right now, and it's all going through its cycles and stuff. But
Chris's language is
But I feel like he has so many good points on what's the purpose of an NFT for a business?
Yeah.
And that's for a discount and for a loyal customer. And I think that's where we've created this character called a tattoo bum and a tattoo Betty. And there's 200 traits on each one. And then you
cool.
you buy it and it puts tattoos in different places and does different things. And then the next level part of it is that we would have guest artists come to town, and you can physically change the NFT. That person would draw 8 new things, and you can only change 2 at one time, but there'd be a drop-down menu, and you'd be able to actually physically cover up or get a new tattoo. Or if you like this artist, you become a true collector of the NFT, and you can make it look like yourself. You can make it look like somebody you want to be, or it's funny because I that's how I envision it. But my buddy goes, "Why would I buy a guy? I'm buying a you know what I mean?" So it's to each their own. But what's the utility of it? And that's where you're creating a brand and creating a little customer by giving the discount to the store. And I was like, I'm going to give you a permanent discount to the store. You buy 1, you get 5%. You buy 2, you get. It'd be 10% total. So 10% for life.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I got
people that it's going to make you want to, I got the NFT, why not I go to your store?
It's worth it for over a lifetime. Yeah.
Yeah, my day rate. Like
there's so many different utilities for those NFTs.
Day rate. Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, man. We have to pivot. We got to come up with these different ideas and options and stuff, especially with contracts. Everything's going to go in that direction for sure.
Well, yeah, that's what it was geared towards, is to make a legitimate, here's the contract.
Yeah.
So you can't reproduce it
The one that I really liked, and the last thing I'll say on there is like, for shoes, like the authentic, I can't even say it.
Authenticity.
The authenticity. Where you can know, like, for example, the shoes you're wearing right now, like they're real, and you have the NFT to be able to match it. That's sick.
How could they do? Well, I guess if they issue an NFT when they give you the shoe, but
they'll put it on the blockchain. So I think essentially they'll create an address on a blockchain to associate.
That'd be so much work. That's what I'm saying. It's too much work. When it gets to that point, it's
a lot. There's a lot to it. But it's just cool to be able to know you have to be able to track it. So.
Yeah. That's. I mean, as far as anything else, it's just still sitting back, now and trying to figure out what's the next step. You know, when you grow to a certain point, what's the purpose of growing it to a certain point? Are you looking to sell it? Are you looking to retire and just collect the money?
Sure.
You know, and that's kind of where I'm at, is like, what's my step? You know? And some days I'm like, screw it, I'm going. And then some days I'm like, man, do I want to leave this legacy to my kid? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or do
that's
I want,
tough.
you know, it's like, or just cash out. You know, there's so many guys. There's an investment group that's come into our industry and has been buying up companies. You know what I mean? They bought up the furniture company, they bought up the inks, and they bought up the machines, and they're getting paid handsomely because they're the ones that created it.
Sure.
So that's where I'm at. Is like, do I look at a venture capitalist group and say, here's 10 jobs, you know? But that's doing a disrespect to the industry, because I don't need somebody that's not in our industry coming in and trying to run it.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Point. So that's the whole Revolt part. It's like,
that's tough. Like, you're a constant battle, it seems like.
With your brand, Revolt. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's
interesting.
Well, you're a great business.
Well, it's a great problem to have.
Yeah, that's very good.
Trust me, when I'm tattooing you, we're talking and all this stuff, but I'm still thinking of like, what's marketing? What can I do that's different? Why isn't that person talking to them over there? What did they just say?
Strategize.
You know, it's like, you know, your brain's going 100 different ways, but I'm concentrating and producing a piece of art. You know, the value of the art. That's where it's kind of. I collect art. I've collected art my whole life. So when I'm paying $3,000 for a photo that's been reproduced, I'm like, what's the value of what I just created on you? Where is it going to? You know. Yeah. So.
Well, you got an amazing mind, man. It's absolutely pleasure.
But I don't look at it that way. I don't have a business education. I don't have. I'm ex-military that just worked. I worked and I got in the right place, and you know, I just pushed through it. So I appreciate you guys saying that.
You got a lot of good talent.
You guys have a lot of good guys on here, so I appreciate you saying that. But yeah, I'm humble, and I'm just like, you know, and going back to Peter, I think that's why I'm not friends with him just because of the business, but I gravitate towards that. You know, they always say you're never going to be, if I'm friends with Joe Schmo that makes $2 an hour, or I'm friends with the guy that drives a fucking Ferrari. You know, which one is better for you as a person, as a family, and you know, and
that's funny because Peter's whole thing was corporate culture, so it's kind of two different like dynamics. It's kind of interesting.
Peter's an amazing. I mean, shout out to Peter Cross. He's a great guy. I mean, we met him, you know, at Luso at one of his event because of Blake Wynn, and that invited us. And you know, last thing I say on, he's just such a humble guy. I didn't know who he was, and he's just talking just in general. Hey man, here's my card. Here's my cell phone. You can reach out, and he's just a good dude, man. But amazing business vibe.
He's the guy that could take your company tenfold, and that's
exactly.
It's like, you know, he's like, we've kind of nibbled like, because he's doing this, he's consulting for Luso. Could he consult for Revolt? But I still don't see us at that point yet. I have a lot of minor things on the inside to figure out before we get to somebody like him walking in going, okay, here you go. You know what I mean? Because he's expensive, right, Peter?
So shout out. Peter, you gotta come down, man. We got to consult with you too, Peter. But he's a good dude, man. Very good dude. No, but absolute pleasure to hang out with you, man. Where can people reach out? What's your social handles and all that good stuff?
Joey Hamilton Tattoo on Instagram, Facebook. Joey Hamilton Tat on Twitter, and then Revolt Tattoos is all over the place. You know, we're up for our 3rd year in a row as Best of Las Vegas. So
good stuff.
You know, it's kind of funny because just real quick, the first year I didn't even know, like, oh, let's do this. And then the second year, we literally for 2 weeks before the vote ended, we were like, oh, we can do this, let's do it. And we got second place. Because our social, you know, it's such a social media driven or it's nothing to do with how good you are. I hate to
keep asking.
Yeah, we're good. We are good, but we have between me and Walter, we have probably 1 million followers on all platforms. So it's like a good thing for us.
That's a pretty big chunk,
you know.
No, you do. You have a lot of followers. Don't get it twisted.
Across all boards. It's like 200, 250, 280. And
that's a pretty good number. That's
That's good, man. No, but it's good, man. It's good to be able to sit and give people a different perspective, especially for our listeners. So absolute pleasure to sit down with
fantastic.
you, man. And we're able to check us out at thebakercircle.com. So thank you, brother. That was good stuff, man. Thank you, man. That was good stuff.
That was absolute pleasure.
Yeah, that's hilarious.